Welcome to another episode of the Dual Talk. I am your host for today, Aisha Kazim, and today I am here with.
Malam Safiyanu Dalladi Mariga, the Senior Special Assistant to the Executive Governor of Gombe State on Media.
So, Bala Safia, you are into politics, Kena.
Alhamdulillah.
You are into it?
We're following.
The answer is, are you into it or not? So, I will know where to go.
Well, when you say if I answer you with yes, I'm into politics, that could mean I either contested election or I have the intention of contesting, or I'm a power broker, somebody funding someone, contesting for political office. But when I say I'm a follower, I don't completely disregard that I'm not into, the game, but my participation is relatively small because I only follow and then support.
Okay,
So, but if I should say I'm a politician, it means I either contest it or I'm in a race, or I'm actively involved in funding someone's, political aspiration. So you may wish to say I'm a politician or I'm into politics, but for me, I'm a follower, trying to, support a cause.
you handle like negative comments from people in Gombe State, since that you handle the media aspect.
Well, you see, um, no government is immune to, criticisms, because that's one of the beauty of democracy. It provides, citizens the platform, to criticize, decisions and policies of government. And Gombe State government cannot be an isolation. People, scrutinize, the decisions of the government, and that is where you get, people criticizing a policy or a decision or a project or a program or initiative. Whatever the government does, you know there are people who can always criticize it. So it is not something new to us, because it's not just happening in Gombe, it's not happening in other states, it's happening all around the world. So you get people criticizing policies of President Trump in America, people criticizing, the decisions of, the crown prince in Saudi Arabia, people criticizing, some of the policies and programs of Netanyahu, in Israel, all over the world, people are criticizing government decisions and, programs. So Gombe State government cannot be, an isolation. So we have a lot of programs we are doing. There are people who are criticizing. Some criticism coming from members of the public, some criticism coming from, members of, opposition political parties.
I know
So,
people will always criticize duk abin da mutum yayi, but do you respond? Kana responding like without sounding defensive?
you know, um, in media, crisis management, there are things you respond to.
I know people always criticize whether you are doing wrong or right, but do you respond? Are you being defensive?
Well, my job as the governor's aide, on media, is one, to, amplify the government, achievement in every sector and across the state. The milestone Governor Muhammadu Inoyahai is making, across all sectors. Amplifying them, promoting them is one of, my, basic responsibility. And also defending the government, where necessary. So this is also part of my role. So it means when someone criticizes, it means I should be able to defend. But like I mentioned, only where necessary. Like I mentioned
So
earlier.
idan mutum yayi criticize din abin da an yi ba daidai ba, idan ya zo yayi magana a kai. So kai ka san cewa ba daidai ba ne, kai ba za ka yi magana ba kenan sai ka yi shiru?
Ai akwai abin da, ai ba ma cewa gwamnati ba ta yin kuskure. But majority of these criticisms that are coming from people, especially those who are criticism that are politically motivated, criticism coming from members of the opposition. So wannan ai you don't expect dan adawa ya zo ya yi ta pressing ɗinka for what you have done. So you always try to see a crack, and then hit. So therefore, it's not that way we responding, but we respond to some of these criticisms, but only constructive criticisms. And and sometimes people allegations kingani and allegations that are baseless. And maybe accusing the government, substantiating something that will have a negative impact on the government image, and something that is not true. So it is my responsibility and the government responsibility to respond. And here the government will be defensive. Defensive in the sense that the government will come all out with evidences, with facts, to set the record clear and debunk whatever allegation that is being leveled against the government or any of its organs.
So most of the times, kamar lokacin siyasa ya gabato haka, the youth are only needed most of the times ba wai ko da yaushe ba, but the youth are always like only needed to promote political interest. Why?
The youth are needed all the time, but we must also understand what type of youth, what category of youth are you talking about? Because youth are of many categories. Are you talking about youth that are within a professional body, or youth that are into talks?
Youth in general.
Or if you are talking about youth in general, youth in
Most of the times, in lokacin zaɓe ya gabato, a lokacin ne za a nema youth waye da waye da waye a samu a haɗa kansu saboda a yi promoting political interest ɗin mutane, amma kuma bayan zaɓen sai ka ga they are no longer needed, kamar they are no longer needed.
No. You see, in Gombe State, youth are always needed because the governor values, the contribution of young people in the society. He acknowledges that, and that is why in his government you find people, young people, many young people in his government, occupying, big positions. That in the past you only see, people with, much age, occupying. So kinga wannan dalilin yasa shi governor yake entrusted in young people with responsibility. Yani big responsibilities. So there is time for electioneering campaign rather, and there's time for governance. So there are things you do during the electioneering campaign that you don't do during governance. So and you see that the young people that are today in government were part of the electioneering process that brought this administration on board. So they participated, and you might call it compensation. They were compensated, by given the opportunity to serve their state, to contribute to the development, of the state. So that should tell you that youth are not only needed during the electioneering process, they are also needed during governance, and they are being included, in governance. So Inaga, I don't agree with you saying youth are only needed.
That's how they feel.
That's how some of them feel who do not have what to bring, on the table. So young people that know what they do, and who are focused, who are determined, even during the electioneering campaign, they try to understand where they could fit in, and then use that, to support a cause and then through that, if the candidate is able to, secure that victory, they use the same way, to get into, the government and participate, contribute, their own quota in the success of the administration and in general the progress of Gombe State. So, but if you say that's how they feel, that's how some of them feel, because that's the only thing they know how to do best.
Speaking of that, most of them youth in da aka shigar da su cikin siyasa, why do they choose to focus more on politics akan business or building skill? Zaka ga they focus more akan siyasa, yawancin matasa suna son shiga harkan siyasa than building business ko kuma wani developing wani skill.
So this is their wish. It's a mindset. If somebody build their mindset on this, there is no way you can change them.
They feel like ana samun kuɗi a harka.
It's fine. If they feel like ana samun kuɗi a harka, let them venture into it. Everybody has their own priority. How I define my priority might be different.
Har ka yi shi saboda wai kuɗin da zaka samu ko kuma abin da zaka samu.
Kowa a rayuwar nan yana yin abu ne saboda ya kawo. Kowa yana yi ne saboda.
But some people are doing it because they are passionate about it.
Yes, passionate about it, and then still expecting something
in return.
But
them, they are not passionate about it. Sun san cewa ba su san komai a wannan harkan ba, amma suna so su shiga saboda sun san cewa za a samu kuɗi.
If they are lucky, sai su samu kuɗi.
If they are not, kuma fa.
Shikenan sai su.
So what's your take on that? You are saying that is fine. Kowa ma kawai ya.
To she politics. Nobody drags you and bring you, and get you into it. Ko ba haka bane? You have passion for it. You find your way in. These politicians you see, ba wanda ya je admitting din su ya kai su kamar inda ake daukan yaro a kai shi makaranta a admitting ɗinsa. Kin gane? A ce this is your class. Nobody does that in politics. You just wake up, you just see a window and you get in. And if you are lucky, shikenan.
Window ta yaya kenan?
Window like
kana da uban gida ko kuma wani babba da ka sani da yake
No, not necessary. Kin gane? She politics, there is a level at which kowa zai iya shiga cikin sa. That is why you have power brokers. People who are just seated somewhere. The only thing they do is they fund campaigns. And they fund political aspirations. Because they have money. Suna da kuɗi in hundreds of billions. But you don't see them in political rallies, you don't see them in political meetings.
So the idea by side.
Suna gefe behind the scene. And they are supporting a candidate.
Okay,
this candidate
contesting funding.
No, they fund only people they know. And this is how it works everywhere in the world. Ba siyasa ba a siyasa babu kuɗi.
Yeah.
Ba ka da kuɗi ma, forget it. Because it is completely capital intensive.
You have to spend.
And you have to spend. Kowa that is coming to work for you will need you to pay them. Kowa that is coming to work for you, akwai abin da ake bukata da za a yi aikin, and you are the one to foot the bills. So therefore, you need money. So in the event whereby baka da kuɗi but you have the network, you know these people and these people can fund you if they have confidence in you. And it happens. Ko ina ne? Kin gane? So therefore, kai ne zaka zaba at what level zaka iya shiga siyasa. Yanzu misali mutumin da ya zama well established, yana da kuɗi, sai ya ji kawai cewa yana da ra'ayin zai shiga siyasa. Maybe ya shiga contest ne. Sai shiga siyasa, gobe sai ya buga poster. Ko ba haka bane? So ya shiga siyasa a dan takara. Ko maybe ya je yana so zai support din wani dan takara. Yana da kuɗi. Sai ya dau kuɗin sa, sai ya saka siyasa dan takara. Sai dan takara ya ci zabe. Ya shiga siyasa. Wani kuma siyasansa is a grassroots. She is a grassroots mobilizer. So therefore, all his contribution is at the grassroots level, because that's the only place where he can make impact. Maybe moving from one house to another, from one temple to another, mobilizing, canvassing support and vote, for the candidate of his choice. That's where he can only contribute. Ane? Wani kuma is a lokacin campaign ne. Ane? So su ne yan hayaniya, sai wane sai wane. This is the only thing they can do. And it's part of politics. Su ma they are needed.
They are needed. So me yasa bayan an yi win din sai a watsar da lamarin su?
To ai
kuma kowane dan empowerment ba za a
ana yi
wannan ba. Is youth empowerment in Gombe real ko kuma just small bag of rice and spaghetti?
Small bag of rice and spaghetti?
Yes, lokacin kafin abin da ake raba kenan.
I don't know whether ana raba bag of rice and spaghetti.
Ana campaign ana rabawa mana. Don wani bag of rice, spaghetti, abubuwa daban-daban.
So maybe this is a tradition, maybe for the politicians, but I don't know. But all I know is during the electioneering campaign, candidates, sell their manifesto,
yes,
to the people, and mutane sukan duba su gani who has the best manifesto, talking about programs in agriculture, programs in youth development, programs in women empowerment, programs in healthcare, programs in education, all these sectors. So the one with the best, idan mutane sun ga za su zaɓa sai su zaɓa. So but after zaɓe, ko da an ci zaɓe, waɗannan mutanen ana ba su empowerment days, a lot of empowerment programs da ake yi, da ake shigar da irin waɗannan mutane ciki.
Like, can you mention?
Misali yanzu, akwai irin business grants da ake bayarwa. Kin gane? Wanda ko kwanan nan ma an yi na mata. Yani mata 1000 an ba su irin startup ɗin nan. Kin gane? Wannan na gaya miki the recent one, I'm just referencing the recent one. Kin gane? Ana ka irin initiatives irin su Gostech da matasa suke shiga. Kin gane? Irin su abubuwan su ACP su waye, kin gane? So abubuwa ne da matasa suna shiga. Kin gane? So ana sa matasa. Ai government is a small entity. What do you know? Those is creating an environment favorable for small businesses to thrive, so that you and me could be able to set up one small business that could hire 2-3 persons, and get them paid at the end of the month. So when you create your business, I create my own, one other person create theirs, that person create their own. So at the end of the day, zaki ga mutane da yawa sun kirkiri business, and the multiplier effect of this business is impacting on the lives of many, because kin dauki mutum uku, ni na dau mutum uku, wancan ya dau uku, wancan ya dau uku, before you realize a lot of young people have gotten job. Kin gane? And this is what this government is trying to do. This government has been even doing, creating the environment that people could get job, not necessarily being appointed, being given civil service appointment and be getting one small chicken change at the end of the month, but at least to get something doing that is sustainable, that you'll be growing your profit will be growing, maybe from 3,000 to 5,000, from 5,000 to 10, from 10 to, and in no distant time sai shiga you are earning abunda maybe in ma civil service ne aka baki aiki sai kin yi shekara da shekaru, you are not earning that in a month.
And also we are still speaking on the youth. Why do they choose godfatherism akan mentorship? Because yawancin wannan zaka ji ai gwanda su samu uban gida wanda zai dinga ba su kuɗi, yana funding ɗinsu akan su samu mentor. Ka gane? They don't want that mentorship. Su kawai sun fi so a samu uban gida. Me yasa?
Do youth in that is focused, that is determined, that has dream, ba zai zauna ya ce wai a bashi 5 yau, a bashi 5 gobe, a bashi 10 jibi ba. No. Zai associate, in fact wajen neman uban gida ma tukunna zai nemi ne a mentor, ba zai nemi uban gida bane. It is in the process of the mentorship that the mentor can now transform into becoming a boss. Wane, look, come, this is how you do this, this is how you do that. When you do this, you do that, you can be able to get this. This is mentorship.
Yeah.
Ko ba ka bane? So you are trained to achieve something. This is mentorship, right? So what if you are trained to make money and you make money? Ko? Wannan mentor ɗinka ya zama boss ɗinka.
Yeah.
Ko ba ka bane? But one that is not focused, is not determined, and has no dream, the person doesn't care. If in fact in ka kawo shi kace ma you train him or something ma ba zai ma ba da wannan ba zai ma
kace zaka dan bashi shawara yanda zai hada nan ya samu nashi
to ba zai ma
ba zai yadda ba
saboda mindset ɗinsa has been built for a different thing, not for that.
Yanzu kai zaka ce tun tasowanka baka taba yin ubangida ba sai dai mentor wanda ya juya ya dawo boss ɗinka?
Ai ni ko nake da mentor, somebody that always guides me, kin gane, in everything I do. And somebody that sees, you know, potentials in me, and is just shaping me towards becoming the person I want to be. Kin gane? So ni ina da mentor ne kuma boss. Har yanzu boss ne kuma is still mentoring me. Because he always guides me, when you do this, you do that, you achieve this. You know, whether I achieve fame, or I achieve something in business, I make money, you know, he always guides me in everything I do. So the ni na san dreams ina. So shi yasa I am always determined and focused on achieving those dreams. And my boss, my mentor kuma is guiding me toward actualizing those dreams. So therefore, ni zan ce miki, ni I have a mentor and a boss.
So you are not interested in ubangida aspect?
Ai boss ɗinka ai shine ai ubangidanka in Hausa kenan. Yani ubangidan da akwai ai ubannin gidaje shashashu. Yani akwai kuma ubangida na gari ko mentor kenan da
shine ai wasu ba su damu da kai na gari bane, kai ba na gari bane, kawai idan dai kana da shi zaka ba su za su yi ubangida da kai.
Ai in aka ce miki mutum zai bayar, misali yanzu sai na zo sai na baka 200, na baka 500, sai na tafi, sai na sake dawa na baka 200, baka 100, ta ina zaka, ta ina na zama mentor ka? Ni ai ba ubangidan kirki bane. Amma misali sai na jawo ka na ce look come, what are you doing Neka for a living? Oh, secretary, you do this, you do that, you do no. So how do you do this? I begin to ask questions. So it is in the course of the conversation that I will be able to understand me ma tunaninka, me fahimtar ka kan abin da kake. So where you are wrong, I will now say, look, you are wrong here fa. Ko kuma wannan abun ma completely ma is out of place. You don't even need to do this. Then I will now suggest a new idea that you should work on, and then support you in building the idea and making it materialize. This is ubangida na gari kenan.
Yeah.
Oh, to ni shine now. For others, I do not know. It's for them to choose. I choice in mutum ne.
Kuma haka ne.
Ko ba ka bane? So you choose somebody ne that is truly for you. Kin gane? Somebody that wants to see you progress genuinely. Duka abu ɗaya ne.
Daban-daban ne.
Ubangida na gari mentor ne.
Yeah, he is a mentor.
Ubangidan banza kuma ba mentor.
Yasa na sa masa ubangida banza.
To shine to ni ai na to shine ciki na bambanta. So da karaje na je na ce yanzu wane ubangida na ne. Ko? Kin gane? Wane ubangida na ne. To sai ku zo ku kaman sai wani sai in do this you are
sai a ce ai maula kawai kake zuwa
yawa
a
so
ce maula kawai kake zuwa sai kake ce masa ubangida
yawa so amma idan kika bambanta ko ubangida na kirki akwai na banza. So mentor din nan da zai taimake ka guiding din ka rayuwarka ta yi kyau to shine ubangida na gari kenan. Wanda kuma dama kwata ma ba dama wannan ai ba ubangida bane na gari ko.
Are you the type that always irin in aka ka zauna ko maybe with your friends sai ana magana and maybe they said something that is wrong da bai kamata a faɗa kana gurin ba saboda they are talking about someone you look up to, ka gane? And kai kuma abin da suke faɗa fact ne, but kai you feel like they shouldn't have said it saboda kana gurin. How do you react to that? Do you support? Ko kuma za ka ba wa shi mentor naka laifin shi, ko kuma za ka yi supporting ɗin shi a gurin ka ce ina ai kawai duk abin da ya daidai ne ko ma ba daidai ba ne.
Can you define loyalty?
Yes.
What is loyalty?
Loyalty, just be loyal to someone during the good and bad days.
This is not the definition of loyalty. Loyalty means 100% or nothing.
That is being during the good and bad days, you are there.
That is your own definition.
Okay, your own definition
But
is 100%.
basically, loyalty in its literal, meaning is hundreds or nothing. As far as you are loyal to you, no wrong.
Yes. Shi ne nace been there for him during the good and bad days. Yanzu lokacin suna faɗan maganan banza kawai you are loyal to him, kai ba za ka faɗa wannan maganan banzan ba.
Why should you do that?
Because he is wrong.
He is wrong.
And no one is above making mistakes.
Yes. I am not
so
saying.
Me yasa ba za ka yi accepting cewa he is wrong din ba?
I should come into public and say my boss is wrong.
A lokacin da suke maganan, kai kawai kenan zaka ce.
Wannan wajen ba public bane? Look, you don't expect me. Kin gane in je waje ana zagin mai gidana kuma ni in yarda cewa abin da ake zagi a kansa dare ne. You don't expect me to do that.
Ba za ka yi ba kenan.
Me, I loyalty is 100% or nothing. You must just be there for him, or you are not there. Or it's either you are there or you are not there. Shi dan adam ne ai. Zai zama yana da kalan nashi irin kin gane rauni din ko ba haka bane? So amma yanzu saboda dai kawai kai dan daɗi baki kawai sai ka je ka zauna sai a ce ai mai gidanka A B C D sai ka ce wallahi ai D E F G H.
Kai ba za ka ce to ai haka yanayin rayuwar ne kaza.
Ba wani maganan yanayin rayuwa.
So any word of advice da za ka ba ma people out there?
Shawara ta shine kowa ya san me yake so a rayuwa, me yake so ya cimma a rayuwa, sannan kuma ya zama motivated by cewa Allah zai masa abin da yake so ya cimma a rayuwa din. Ya kuma ci gaba da pursuit. Kin gane? So ko da a harkar siyasa ne, dan ka kama gaskiya, ka rike amana, and kuma baka da niyya na cutar da wani, baka bakin ciki da wani, to ai Allah zai taimake ka ai. Ko da Allah bai baka yanzu ba zai iya baka gaba.
Ko kuma zai iya ma baka inda ma yafi nan.
Yes, kowa da kalan destiny sa. Yanzu ko a gwamnatance wasu suna fara moran gwamnati ne daga farkonta har ta. Wasu kuma rabonsu yana tsakiyar gwamnati ne. Wasu kuma rabonsu yana ƙarshen gwamnati ne. Wasu kuma gaba ɗaya ma ba masu da rabo ne. Ila rabonsu a gwamnatin gaba ne. Ko ila rabonsu a wani ɓangare ne ma daban sai sun haƙura ma da siyasa. Sai su koma wani layi sai ki ga ashe rabon arzikinsu na dukiya yana wani layi ne daban. Ba a layin siyasa. Sai su je su samu. So therefore kullum kai iya naka ai ba da arziki na dukiya, na lafiya, na ilimi, na kwanciyar hankali, na zamar lafiya, duka wannan na daga wajen Ubangiji. Kai dai dan adam ka yi naka abin da zaka yi. Shi kuma shine zai determine ko ka samu ko kar ka samu, kamar yadda ba a yi shawara ba Allah ya yi sanadin kawo ka duniya. To don haka ba zai yi shawara ba kuma wajen yi maka wajen hana ka.
With this, we have come to the end of today's session. See you all in the next. Follow us on all our media platforms at The Dual Talk.